Hey y'all, welcome if you're new. So in today's video, I'll be changing out some of my old container labels here in my pantry, as well as getting it restocked and cleaned up in here. I've added a few new decor items on the wall and will continue to add more along the way. I'll also be changing out the silverware liner for a new one. Plus I've got two simple but really good recipes for y'all, and they're both family favorites. I'll also be doing some fruit prepping. If you're new, feel free to subscribe and turn that bell on so you don't miss any further content. Let's get started. I'm loving these liquid chalk markers that I recently purchased. They just glide right on to the labels. The only problem is it never dries, so you have to be really careful not to touch or smudge it. Otherwise, you just have to wipe it off with a wet cloth and just redo it, which isn't a big deal, but it can get a little bit annoying. So I ended up changing my outfit, taking the braids out of my hair and painting my nails. It was still early at this point and I had a million things that needed to be done this day, so I figured I'd at least get the video started whether I was ready or not. If I hadn't gotten it started when I did, I probably never would have. I was totally holding myself accountable. So at this point, I'm still in my scrubs. So I just wanted to take a moment to tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name's Farrah. I'm a mother to 7 beautiful children. My oldest, Jacob, is 19. He joined the Marine Corps last October. My youngest, Marshall, is 3 years old. I have been married to my best friend and husband, Keith, now for 21 years. We were kids together and we both were born and raised in California, and we relocated here to the Midwest about 12 years ago and are now living in the backwoods, and we love country life. My content includes cleaning, organization, grocery, clothing, and decor hauls, shop with me's, nighttime morning routines, day in the lives. Mommy school vlogs are also soon to be. Also a family vlog once in a while for a special occasion. So if any of this content interests you, I would be more than happy to have you join the team, subscribe, and say hey down in the comments. So I thought that I was recording while I was vacuuming and realized that I wasn't. So this is why we are skipping the vacuuming part and heading right into the mopping. So if you notice that some of the images in this video are backward, it's because I am still recording with my phone and I had the phone in the wrong position, which I rarely ever do. This was so annoying, you guys. I could have fixed it, but I didn't realize that I didn't catch it until after I had already edited the video. And so I just left it. But when you've worked so hard on a video just for something like this to happen, I swear, you guys, if it's not one thing, it's another. So as you can see, the silverware holder is pretty old. It was here when we bought the house, so I ordered an acrylic one off of Amazon, which I thought would look really nice. I love that it's extendable, but only width-wise. It ended up being a little too short lengthwise, but I'll be ordering some acrylic drawer cubbies to fill in the gap. I love the transparency of the acrylic, and so I will probably be lining the bottom of the drawer either a bright aqua or a pink, but either way, it will definitely be something stylish. Time to clean and prep my fruit. I'm just gonna fill the sink up with cool water and add some dish soap. Sometimes I'll use white vinegar to clean my produce. And then I'll just start dumping all the fruit in, as well as for the veggies, depending on what needs to be washed. I'll leave it to soak for about 20 minutes. I just bought a beautiful variety of berries and grapes, as well as for some mangoes at Sam's Club. I love that organic produce is becoming more regularly available here. These were like the most flavorful strawberries and grapes, and then I also got some raspberries and blackberries. Like, they were so flavorful, y'all. I love Sam's Club's produce. Oh yeah, and I also got a big old thing of blueberries, and there wasn't a single mushy blueberry, you guys. So tell me, you guys, what's your favorite berry? So I ended up separating the strawberries and the grapes from the blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries, so to make my dump cake or berry cobbler. So I got this recipe from my grandma. She made it every holiday gathering growing up. She may have made hers a little different as far as like sweetening it and stuff, but this is basically the way she made it. This is actually the first time I'm adding blueberries into the mix, but you're gonna want about 6 cups or so of whatever fresh fruit you like. I highly recommend you try the berries first. You'll add about 1.5 cups of sugar to the fruit, and then you'll mix it with your hands. Then you'll pour into like a 10 by 13 dish. And this is just optional, but before I pour the cake mix over the berries, I like to sprinkle a generous amount of brown sugar over the fruit. So good, you guys, because then you get that caramelized flavor coming through. But now you will add 1 box of some yellow cake mix over the fruit. I used gluten-free cake mix because my son and I are both gluten-free. So now I just cut up into squares 2 sticks of butter, and then I just spread the butter over the top of the cake mix, and whatever I don't use, I just put aside. And then I sprinkle a generous amount of cinnamon over that, and then I stick this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes until it is golden and bubbling. Oh my goodness, you guys, a must try. For the very best results, stick it in the fridge for an hour or 2, and then top it with some vanilla ice cream. And sometimes we will leave it in overnight, and the crust will turn into like sugar cookie crust. It is amazing. So I recently purchased 2 large storage produce containers off of Amazon, and I just love them, you guys. They hold a ton of fruit. I love the lid and how it opens on either side, and I love that they are stackable. So now I'll be washing and cutting up this super juicy watermelon that I also got from Sam's Club. I swear, you guys, I would go to Sam's just for the fruit. This watermelon was so juicy, I was a mess after cutting it up. my opinion, this is the most efficient way of cutting up a watermelon, but you want to have a really, really sharp knife. So when my husband and I had first gotten married, I noticed that he was putting salt on his watermelon, and I was like, what are you doing? And I just thought that was just so strange until I tried it. You guys, I could never eat watermelon again without salt. It is so, so good. Who else salts their watermelon? The salt just really brings out the flavor, just as it does when you're cooking. And we actually use the good salt, the pink Himalayan salt, which is full of trace minerals and so, so, so essential for good health. Okay, so recipe number 2. I don't know what's tastier and easier than throwing together a quick casserole dish. So I start with 2 pounds of beef. I always double my recipes to feed our large family, and Keith loves to take leftovers to work the next day for lunch. So I always keep that in mind. But after browning the beef, I added all the seasonings that I put together, which were chili, cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper, and I always use a generous amount of seasonings. The recipe called for a packet or 2 of taco seasoning, if that makes it easier. So while the beef cooks, I prepare a box of gluten-free cornbread mix. You can use whatever cornbread you prefer, but you'll want to make enough for 2 layers, one for the bottom and one for the top. I ended up using 2 boxes, but I'll leave that up to you. It depends on how thick you like your cornbread layers, and I like them really thick. Once the meat's all browned, you'll add 2 cans of drained diced tomatoes with chilies, 1 can of corn, and 2 cans of pinto beans. So the recipe actually called for creamed corn, which I did not have on hand. I only had some frozen corn. The creamed corn probably would have made this recipe a little bit more moist, but either way, it will be very tasty. And so now I added a few dollops of some sour cream, which is all that I had left. So now I spray a 10 by 13 inch casserole dish with some non-stick cooking spray, and then I add my first layer of cornbread. And now you will top the first layer of cornbread with your meat mixture, and then you'll generously top that with some cheddar cheese. And then you'll add your second layer of cornbread, and then you could top that with some dried chives, but that's optional. And then you'll just pop it in the oven under 350 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes once it's golden brown. And then you can also serve with a small salad on the side, but that is up to you. This meal alone is more than filling. Totally kid and husband approved. So yet again, I thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Say hello down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Be safe. Bye.